What would happen if you wanted to swing and he didn't?
Why is it that men love to have sex just before you're just about to go, like just before bed? Why?
But is your relationship exclusive outside of the spicy work that you do?
What do you mean by exclusive?
Yo guys, welcome back to another episode on my channel. I'm sitting in this spot, which means I have a great conversation lined up for you today. You know, on this channel, we talk about all things dating and relationships and seeing what we can do to attract the kind of relationship and person that we want. So without further ado, please welcome Kirsty to the show.
Hello.
Welcome. How are we?
I'm really good. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming on. It's icy today. She came through the ice today.
Oh, I did.
She came through the ice. We love it. Well, listen, I want to jump straight in. So tell us your age or your age range, asking a woman her age, and one thing about you a guy should know if you want to take you on a date.
Well, I am 34, and one thing that a man needs to know when he takes me out on a date. Oh, what a question.
We start strong.
That is a strong question. He needs to know lots of things.
What's the main thing he should know?
That I'm a strong, stubborn woman.
You're a strong, stubborn woman.
Yeah, and I stand my ground. So he needs to be strong.
And stubborn?
Yeah, to survive. Otherwise, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
Would you accept a guy who is more accommodating for you and the things that you want and the direction you want to go in? So who's not stubborn?
No, I don't.
Really?
I don't want a wet wipe. I want someone that's going to challenge me. Like,
okay,
stand their ground.
Yep.
And support me and themselves, as in like support their own beliefs, support my beliefs.
Yeah.
We work together rather than him working for me.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
I get that. So what happens when you come to a crossroads? You come to a crossroads with you and this man. You want to go right, he wants to go left, and you're both really stubborn. What do you do?
So we compromise, right?
We go in the middle.
What he wants isn't any more important than what I want.
Fair.
So we've got to work together to make it both, like, to work for both of us.
Yeah, I get that. Well, I mean, you are a happily married woman.
I am.
Happily married woman. Would you say your hubby is stubborn like you?
Yes, he is. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, of course.
It can be fiery, but again, we respect each other's beliefs,
Sure,
values, and needs.
Yes.
We're two different humans.
Yes.
In that regard. So what he needs and what he believes is different to mine.
Okay.
But then it's no more important than, we're not any more important than each other.
Yeah.
What he needs to do and what I need to do for ourselves is important.
Yeah.
So I'd never get in the way of that.
Yeah. And how long have you guys been together?
14 years.
14
Yeah,
years.
it's a long
You do
time.
not hear of that anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like it needs a round of applause.
I'll
So 14 years relationship, two, your words, not mine, strong, stubborn people.
Yes.
How do you, when you do butt heads and you really disagree on something, how do you resolve that if you're both so strong in your direction and beliefs?
We have to communicate. And sometimes we fail at that. And I do walk away. I have to walk away, and he hates it. And he doesn't like it when I do it because he wants to solve it there and then. But I have to walk away from the situation, reflect, have time to reflect, and then bring myself back in.
Yes.
And that's when I can communicate. I don't think I communicate as well as he does. I can get quite, he will talk to me and then I start raising my voice, but he won't react to that.
Yes.
He will just be normal and say what he needs to say.
Yeah.
And I would just get louder and louder and louder. And he'd be like, why are you shouting at me? And I'd be like, I'm not shouting at you. And I am.
Yeah, of course.
So yes, taking myself away from the situation and then coming back into the situation and reflecting and talking like two normal human beings has worked.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, and again, it comes down to that respecting each other. So for example, right, my husband likes to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's Sunday. Who likes to get up at 4 a.m. in the morning?
Good point. Yeah.
Right.
Very
He
true.
likes to get up. He likes to read. He then goes for a run. Okay. The light goes on at 4 a.m. and I'm like, I could be that wife that goes, fuck you. Like, I can't deal with this.
Yes.
But I have to understand actually what he's doing is his morning routine. It makes him feel good. It makes him a proud man.
Yeah.
You go and do that. I'm just going to stay in my bed, roll over, go to sleep. And he continues, like, when I get up, he's had his breakfast. He's had the whole day.
He's had his whole day.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I was, it's funny you said that. I was up at 6 in the gym this morning because it just starts your day right. And then you feel like you get more of your day. But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're sharing a room with someone and the lights go on, fuck. Yeah, that's kind of like mad.
Who am I to tell him, what the fuck are you doing?
Of course. And tell me if I'm wrong. The irony is that side of him that is consistent, that is driven, purposeful, is probably one of the things that makes him very attractive.
Yeah. Definitely.
At least to you. Absolutely.
And I think I'm a very similar person. I'm very driven. I'm very ambitious. I'm very passionate, but I don't get up at 4 a.m.
Because having a 14-year relationship, let alone marriage, is something that we don't hear of nowadays, right? And I think so many people want that level of commitment, consistency, and depth with someone.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you found that you've had to work on yourself in order to get to this point?
My expectations of him.
Say more.
So, say I've had a long day. So, okay, say I've been to the gym.
Yeah.
And I've come home. It's 6 p.m. The house is an absolute mess. The dogs haven't been fed. There's washing up on the side. The laundry's not in.
Yeah.
My expectation would be, well, I would react like, why have you not done the washing up? Why is the dogs not walked or fed?
Yeah.
Why is there mess here? Why?
Yes.
Expecting him to just be doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't know what he's done all day.
So
true. Me coming in and seeing this and my expectations are too high. Like, as in, maybe I need to have a conversation with him.
Yes.
And then bring him in and be like, could you help me, please?
Yeah. It's funny, how we do something is like half the battle.
Yes.
How we communicate, say, hey, if you go, hey, I need you to do the dishes.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to when maybe we should be, hey, it would really help me.
Yeah.
If you see the dishes in there, if you could just do that, I'd really appreciate that. And the response can be night and day depending how you do it. Massively.
That's the difference between having an argument all night.
Yeah, of course.
Or just getting shit done. So yeah, I come home often and there is mess, just normal mess, in the house.
Yeah.
And I then do my things and I always say to him, could we do the bins or can we go and walk the dogs together?
Yeah.
Let's do it together as a team as opposed to fighting against each other. Like,
100%. Interesting you say about expectations. Some men, a lot of men, feel that with a lot of women today in the dating world, that the expectations of them is really high. Like their standards are high.
Our expectations of a man.
As in like dating. So let's say a woman who's looking to date, she's looking for a man to date, have a relationship with. A lot of guys feel that a lot of women's standards and expectations are like crazy high.
Okay.
Right. What's your take on the current dynamic in that sense? Would you agree with that? I mean, do you have like single friends and what they ask for in men or?
It depends on the type of person. I've got lots of different friends.
Sure.
And it depends on the type of friend. How high maintenance my friends are to then how much they want from a man as they expect them to have a higher wage or be able to support them and they be a housewife, so to speak.
Even if they are kind of successful themselves?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
And then that's when it leads to like a competition in the household. Like, she's been at work all day, working lots of hours, earning lots of money, very successful. And then he's been at work all day, doing whatever he does, earning the money. But I'm more tired than you are. So you should make me dinner kind of thing. And she's a bit like, well, I've been out working all day, earning just as much money. Yeah. Why don't you make the dinner?
It's a good point. I think that it's interesting because obviously historically women haven't had the same rights and opportunities as men.
Yeah.
But now actually single women are actually out earning their male counterparts under the age of 30. The first time it's ever happened in history.
Yep.
So women, especially the past few decades, have been taking the positions of wealth and power that
Yeah.
men have traditionally held. But it seems that they don't want to take the responsibility that comes with those. So for example, if a man was earning really good money, he'd be perfectly happy to take women to his life and she can stay at home, right? He's happy like, look, I'll slave away at the office or whatever, right? To provide the home, provide a foundation for the family, and you just take care of the home.
Yeah.
But I feel like women are now in that position where they're earning great money, they have that power and influence, but they wouldn't do that for a guy.
No.
Why do you think that is?
Oh, why?
Why do they want the
Because
positions?
it's not very manly. It's not very manly for a man to be at home.
Is it not worth saying it's not very womanly for a woman to be like crazy ambitious and high position of power?
Yeah, but men men do men things. Men do manly things.
Yeah, and women, you could say women do womanly things. And her kind of being a high powered, successful, ambitious woman, we could say that's very manly.
Maybe it is.
It's a point, right?
That's an interesting point.
Because I get what you're saying.
Yeah, so me being ambitious, would that make me manly? Say I then had say I earned all the money in the household and my husband was at home being a house husband.
The house husband.
Very manly. I wouldn't like that.
Of course. But I don't think most women would. But the interesting thing...
I think okay, so from my point of view, it would demasculinate. Is that's a word, right?
Emasculate.
Emasculate, take the masculinity away from a man.
Yes.
So that wouldn't be attractive to me.
I get 100%, I get that. But then could we then understand if a man's like, okay, a woman who's like crazy, ambitious and dedicates her, most of the time to being in a position of power and loads of money, could we understand that that's not attractive to a masculine man who's looking for a feminine woman?
Yeah. Yeah, because they would feel inferior to...
Or maybe it's just not attractive. Because, I mean, the reason you wouldn't find that attractive in a man is it's not because you feel inferior to him.
No.
They just be like, oh, this just isn't the kind of woman that I'm looking for.
Yeah. So that's the difference, isn't it? It depends on what kind of man that you're looking for. And I am like I like a masculine man.
Yeah.
Some people might not. Some people might want the house husband.
I think that's very few, but you're right. Some
men might want that.
Oh, I think if a woman came into a man's life and was like, I'm gonna pay and cover everything. You just pursue your dreams, and whether you fail or not, I've got you. Most guys would take it. Okay. But that's not the reality we live in.
No. I'm just trying to think how...
Because I'll give you an example, right? It's really funny. Don't you know? I've dated like a sugar mama before.
Oh, okay.
Right? Like half the women I've dated have been older than me. But she was very wealthy, whatever, very feminine woman. But when we went out, she paid for everything.
How did that make you feel?
I was like, this is what it's like to be a woman. This is great. I was like, no wonder fucking girls like this.
Yeah,
no wonder girls are like,
daddy.
No wonder girls are like, oh my gosh, I want to be strong and independent and do what I want. But if I'm in a relationship, I want a man to take care of everything. I'm like, I get it.
Oh, really?
I'm like, I get it. But ironically, she was still the feminine one in our dynamic. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not about the money.
No.
And obviously, like my partner, I pay for everything or whatever. That's, and that's just how I've been raised in that household. But I was just like, that was the first time I'd ever experienced anything like that. And I'm like, interesting. I'm like, I get why it's nice. I get why women want it, even though women earn their own money.
See, I don't like that.
Yeah, of course.
I think that's... I wouldn't feel... I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I mean, there was like 15 years between us in age, so maybe that played a part. It doesn't sit right with me at all. If I had to have a sugar daddy, it doesn't sit right with me. You have a sugar daddy?
No, if I did, I'm just trying to think if I had someone that would take me out and pay for everything. Yeah. How would that make me feel? I wouldn't like it.
So you never let your husband take you out for dinner or dates or anything?
He does, but then we kind of take it in turns. He'll take me out, I take him out.
Yeah, that's fine.
But like every time, if he was doing that, I would feel owned.
Why would you feel owned?
I feel like I owe him something.
Why?
Because he's given me these things for what? Like,
So for you, it comes across as transactional. Like, well, if you do this, I have to do something for you.
yeah.
But is there a way of this is how he wants to show his love by providing an experience for you both to share?
Yeah, once in a while.
Because like, let's say, obviously you don't have to say anything, but let's say, for example, if he earned twice as much as you did, would you still feel...
Would I expect him to pay?
Would you still feel like him paying for everything or the majority of things, would you still feel uncomfortable with that?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I'll tell you something. So before I made my millions.
Tens of millions.
5 years ago, our lives were very different.
Okay.
We run a gym
Yep.
and that's all we did. We personal trained, everything like that. We kind of ran, I did my nutrition side. I had my PT clients. He coached everyone at the gym and he did that. He earned way more than me.
Sure.
We still paid half the bills, like exactly half the bills, half the shopping, half the petrol, half everything. It doesn't matter if he was earning $5,000 a month and I was earning 1,000, I would still pay the same amount.
And was that a conscious choice by you?
By both of us.
Okay.
I think and even now, right? Okay, so I earn a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
He earns money as well. I earn more.
Mm-hmm.
But we still pay everything in half. Everything is divided.
I understand that. I guess it does come from a traditional sense of a man kind of providing for a woman.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is because for a lot of men, that is how they show their love.
Mm-hmm.
They want to take care of his partner. Like, he wants to put himself between her and the bullet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so almost how men have shown love is to serve.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? That's why it's always been men who go off to war.
Yeah.
And women haven't always had the same rights, but they've always been a protected class in society.
Oh, yeah.
When the Titanic went down, it was women and children first.
It's true.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I guess I'm intrigued as to what is it in you that if a man kind of pays for everything that you go, I can't allow you to do this because I feel like I owe you something.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that experience before where a guy covered everything and then he kind of expected things from you that you didn't want to do?
No, I'm just thinking back. I don't think I don't know where that's come from.
Interesting. It's not wrong. I'm just interesting.
You've made me really like, oh.
Just go away, reflect.
Yeah, I'm going to
and then come back.
Really, I'll be like, oh, I know where that's come from now.
We love it.
Do you know what? I think even I think from a very young age, I was always that person that wanted to be self-sufficient.
Sure.
I left home very young, and I always remember them saying horrible things when I was younger. You kind of clash, teenager, mum, dad. And I was like, in me, I was like, I'll prove you wrong. I'll prove that I can survive without you. And I think that may be where that's come from.
Sure.
Like, I will show you I can be on my own. I don't need to rely or depend on anybody but myself.
Right. Of course. So do you think in relation to a man, do you think that's, you want to prove that to him? Or do you think that's almost still you proving to the ghost of your parents that this man doesn't take care of me because I can provide for myself? Or is it proving to the man, you don't have to do that because I can do it for myself?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keeping him on his toes.
Hey man, like, sometimes that's what the chemistry is, right? What's something you'd like to ask today? What would you like to?
Something that I would like to ask.
Yes. Bring to the conversation.
Oh yeah. Okay. So when you are in a relationship, and it's something I've seen a lot, but I would like to ask a man.
Yes.
Why it would happen. But why do men feel the need to lose themselves in a relationship? And
what do you mean?
What I mean by that is, so I know a guy and I've known him for several years. And when I first met him, he had this energy about him. Everyone was drawn to him. He was a great person. He'd come to me for help in regards to exercise, nutrition, everything like that, to better himself. And I did that for a year. It was great to see him grow as a person. we stopped doing PT coaching and everything like that. And I saw him about a year later, and he didn't look like the same person.
Okay.
He had met a woman
Mm-hmm.
who had a child,
Mm-hmm.
an older child. He just looked tired, worn down.
Mm.
He hadn't been to the gym, wasn't really doing things. He'd gone back to smoking, bad habits,
Right.
gained weight.
Right.
And then he said to me, "Oh yeah, I'm going to come back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to come back." I saw him 2 weeks ago, and he looked like a broken man.
Whoa.
And I was like, "Are you okay? Like,
Yeah.
are you really okay?"
Yeah.
And I feel I don't know the ins and outs, but I don't know if having that relationship with a woman and her child or whatever has put a bit of like has interfered with who he was becoming.
It's put a burden on him.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
why has he, and it's happened in it wasn't just him, but other people, like men, they've changed. They were this great person and they were doing great things and feeling really good, looking really good.
Yeah.
And then now they just look like their soul is broken.
Yes.
So why would a man stay in a relationship?
Yeah. So, obviously, we don't know the ins and outs, but
No.
when this happens, this is what I have seen pretty consistently. It's called concessions by 1,000 cuts.
Okay.
And it's within a relationship, when a man gets to a relationship with a woman, and he's this extroverted energy top guy, right? A lot of women find that attractive, but they want to tame that when they're in a relationship. The reason they want to tame that is because it can invite unnecessary risk from eyes from other women into a relationship, right?
Ah, okay. I see.
There is also an element, and this is the concession by 1,000 cuts. Let's say he's a very strong masculine guy.
Yeah.
Now, when a guy cares about a woman, if she says, "Oh, like, I don't like you doing this, so I want you to start doing this," the first instinct a guy wants to do is, "Okay, sure, because I care about you. And if this isn't a big deal to me, but if it's a big deal to you, then no problem." Do you know what I mean? But when he does that too many times, right? And we're talking about frame. It becomes, if it started where she was entering his frame of a relationship, because that's what she was looking for, a strong masculine man who leads.
Yeah.
It then becomes her frame.
Right.
Because he is submitting to every little thing. He is conceding to every little thing. And one thing on its own isn't a big deal. But over the course of months, maybe years, it starts to change his position in the relationship and starts to affect the dynamic within the relationship. Yeah. And so what often happens is that's when she'll have less respect for him. You'll find that they're not having that much sex, but yet she still expects him to fulfill the responsibilities that he is accepted to take on.
Yeah.
So if you're saying about that guy who's with a woman who has a kid, because I guarantee you, right, she would have expected him to take some level of responsibility for the child.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
and he
that's
knew what
generally
he was
happens.
walking into.
He knew what he was walking into.
Yeah.
So he's taking that responsibility, but it's not his child.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very likely he doesn't have a level of authority. He's been asked to take on the responsibility without the authority. Responsibility without authority is slavery.
Yeah.
I tell you to go out and pick the cotton in the fields, but you have no say in how, when, or where you do it. That's slavery.
Yeah.
Right? So it's through these concessions, which would change from being his frame to her frame, with the added responsibility without the authority. And that is super taxing.
Yeah.
Super taxing. So I'm not surprised when you say you saw him a couple of weeks ago. He just looked like a broken man.
Yeah, he looked terrible.
Now, here's what I would say to that, and you may disagree. It is the man's responsibility, if he is the one within the relationship where he provided the frame for her to come to his life and he wants to do things for her, it is his job to maintain that frame. So there will be some things that she will ask of him, but he has to say no. And she might say, why? And he'll say, if he has a reason, he'll be like, I don't want to do this because of X, or I'm going to this because of X. So for example, it'll be, and this is a perfect example. It could be like, let's say he trained 4 or 5 times a week with you.
Yeah.
Right? Gets this relationship. She's like, oh, but you know, little Timmy has football practice on Saturday morning. Like, it'd be really nice if you could start being there. He's like, okay, cool. So that's one day he doesn't go.
Yeah.
Oh, little Timmy has school. Do you mind taking him every Wednesday? Because he has to go to Breakfast Club. That's another one. Slowly like that. And then before you know it, he is adapting his life to fit the narrative that she wants.
Yeah.
Where really it should be, okay, I will come on Saturday. I'll come to the game on Saturday, but on the Wednesday, I'm not taking him to school.
Yeah.
And she might be why? And be like, because I don't want to. It's that simple.
Yeah.
And he has to hold the line, as they say.
Yeah.
Right?
You're a team. You need to
You're
work
a team.
together.
You're a team. But it's on him to maintain that frame. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And it comes from and it's not just for him, it's for her. Because the more he concedes, the more respect she loses for him. And that's going to affect the relationship.
And again, it comes down to that respecting each other's beliefs, values, and needs. Right?
Yes.
As a human.
But he has to stand up for his own.
Yeah.
She can't expect him to stand up for his own.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's another thing you want to ask? I hope he watches this. Send it to him.
Yeah, I will. I'll tag him in it.
Yeah, tag him. Tag him. His wife would be like, don't you dare watch that episode. Fuck her.
Okay. I think this happens more with females than it does with males.
Okay.
Why do females, or like a lot of my friends, when I'm like, oh, let's book a holiday or let's do a shopping date on this date, they will then seek permission from their partners. And to me, I can't compute this.
Okay.
Because I'm very much like, if my friend said to me, let's go swimming tomorrow, I'm like, okay, cool, perfect. I will tell Ben, I'm going swimming tomorrow at this time.
Yep.
He'd be like, okay, wonderful. That end of conversation.
Yep.
Whereas my friends would then have to, I just need to check with my partner.
Yep.
And I'm like, what are you checking? Like, I can understand that you want to make sure that you're not doing anything at the same time, but this could be for a date that's 3 months down the line. I'm not being funny. You don't have something planned for that date in 3 months' time. Because one of my friends, I have to literally go through her rota and find out when she's free.
Right.
And then she will pass it by her partner. I'm like, why?
Okay, I hear that. I will answer that, but let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Have we seen it where boys, guys ask like, yo, come, we're going out with the boys and stuff. And you're like, I have to check with the missus.
Oh, I've heard this. And again, I had a conversation with Ben because I asked him about like, what do you think of this? I said, would you ask my permission? He was like, no, I would tell you I'm going.
Yep.
And if you had an issue with it, you would have the opportunity to say something.
Yep.
But it would be his decision if he goes. He would make sure that when, like I said, we're not doing anything them days.
Yes.
Out of respect, but then because obviously what we do takes priority over anything else. But
sure.
I'm not going to say no. Who am I to say no? You can't go out with your friends.
Of course. I think there's an element of that. So when they say I need to check with my partner, they're like, I'm going to let my partner know and I want to see that they're okay with it. And before I confirm, I want to make sure they are okay with it before committing to it.
Okay.
Right? So I think there's an element of that. I think the big difference with, so the friends you're talking about, right? Because I hope you don't mind sharing, but you do spicy content.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And your partner does as well, right?
Oh, okay. I know where you're going with this.
Okay. Do your friends do that or no?
No.
Okay. So the boundaries within their relationship is different to yours.
Yeah.
It's much different. And so because of that, anything that could approach a boundary of their relationship, they need to check with their partner, right? But because your boundaries, at least physically, are quite open, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, if you're kind of free to be having a sexual experience with other people, you going out with your girls is no big thing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You going on a holiday with your girls is no big thing.
Yeah.
But for other relationships where it's definitely not that, her going on holiday with her girls, he might be like, I'm not comfortable with you going because I know what comes with that sometimes.
Yeah.
And then they have that conversation. But I think it's a boundary thing because they clearly have very different, or you have very different boundaries to the average couple, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm just going to say I'm going to go out and I know he's going to be fine. So I don't need to feel like I need to converse with him. If it's an issue, he'll let me know.
Yeah.
I think another element for some is that the dynamic of some relationships is very much the man is in a leadership position and she is and I mean this in a loving way, obviously, but it's very traditional where he's in a leadership and she submits to his leadership, right? Because maybe he does, maybe he does pay for everything and he does make sure that she's taken care of, etc. So he has the responsibility of looking after her. And with responsibility comes a level of authority.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And it's not, and every time we say this, like people hear authority, people just think tyrannical, like, oh, he's controlling her and everything like that. It's not that. It's just that with some things, she will submit to his decision. So, you know, when I asked you before, I was like, if you and your husband are quite stubborn, you come to a crossroads, you want to go left, he wants to go right. What do? You're like, well, maybe we'll go in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? In that kind of relationship, if she wants to go left, he wants to go right, they go right.
Yeah.
Because she submits to his decisions because that's the dynamic of the relationship that she's chosen to be in and that's what she finds works for her. So if she's in that kind of relationship and she wants to do something that approaches a boundary that they may have, 100% she has to check with her husband first. 100%.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Do you know what I mean? And there's no right or wrong about it, but that's, you know.
I asked my husband, like, how would that make you feel if you had to check with me? Like, to see if you could go out with your friends. Like,
I know.
It doesn't sit right with me, again, because I'm not in that kind of relationship with the boundaries as you're just talking about.
Yeah. The irony is, though, the average relationship is actually the other way around. Like, if a guy wants to go out with his guy mates, he has to check with his girlfriend.
Yeah. No, saying that, my husband went on a stag do and, yeah, getting all the boys together. They had to check in with the.
They had to make sure it was okay. They had to make sure.
I'm like encouraging him, like, go
do your thing,
go and do it, like go and have a good time.
You know the friend you told me about, who you're like, he's just a different man. Yeah. He would 100% need permission.
Oh,
100%. He may be too scared to ask. Like, I don't know if she's gonna, you know,
being too scared to, I don't want to be that person.
No. But I think you guys, to have the kind of relationship you guys have, it takes, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it takes a lot of communication.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of openness in terms of being vulnerable with each other. And it takes a lot of emotional maturity and awareness, because you have to be conscious and aware of the other person, like, especially if you're sharing that energy space with other people. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I think that comes from, he was previously married and I was in a really rubbish relationship.
Yeah.
And we spoke about that and we knew what we didn't want from each other.
Yes.
So he knew the breakdown of his marriage before, elements of why it went wrong. So we've made an effort to make sure that that doesn't happen in our relationship. And the same on my side as well. So,
and literally intelligence and awareness.
Yeah. And I think that's what it is. It is about communicating and being truthful to each other. And yes, he pisses me off. I piss him off. But I'm not here to make him happy every day. I'm here to challenge him.
Yeah, cool. I get that, man.
Keep him on his toes.
I get that. Let me ask you something. You'd have to share this if you don't want to.
Yes.
But is your relationship exclusive outside of the spicy work that you do?
What do you mean by exclusive?
Physically exclusive. So, like, obviously, because for your spicy work, you'll be collaborating with other people, right? Right? Creating that, having sex on camera, all of that.
Yep.
Outside of work, are you guys exclusive, or can you kind of
okay.
To do what you want?
So prior my spicy page, we was swinging. That's how it kind of come together. So we had our friends round, it got a bit naughty, we had a few too many drinks, we ended up naked, and that's how it just started with friends. And then it escalated to clubs, and then that's when our boundaries were being pushed each time, and we were just having sex with anyone and anyone in the clubs.
So wait, were you together then you started swinging, or you were swinging already and then you met?
No, we were together and then we started swinging.
Then you started swinging.
About 5 years after being together.
So you were exclusive
Yeah.
up until that point.
Yeah.
And then you started swinging.
We started swinging.
Interesting.
And yeah, so each time we would go to the clubs, the boundaries would get more and more. First of all, it's like, oh, we just want to watch people have sex.
Yeah.
And then we'd be like, oh, how would we feel if like someone was to have sex with us as a threesome?
Yeah,
So then we'd invite a woman in, then a man,
Yeah.
and then a foursome, and then a massive orgy.
Yeah.
And it kind of, the boundaries just moved further and further and further. And then it got a bit boring. And, you're like, and then you're like, now what? Well, lockdown happened, the spicy page came.
Right.
And that's when the cameras come out.
Mm.
So, yes, to answer your question, we now don't swing.
Okay.
We haven't swung for a while, for about a year, because I've been collabing. And when you collab, you have to make sure you're being professional and have certain tests and everything to make sure you're working with the correct people in the industry. So it would be really unprofessional of me to go and have sex with someone in a swinging club, not knowing their history and their medical stuff, you know? So this
not even with protection though?
Sorry?
Not even with protection?
No, we don't, no. No. So, yeah, so just to be professional, for the last year of me collabing on my spicy page, we've just kept it me, him, and the people that I work with.
Okay.
But
got you.
It's interesting that you ask, actually, because we was discussing it. It was like, we haven't been to a club for a while and I'm taking December off. So I was like, oh, well, we could. But again, my other half for now isn't bothered, bothered about having sex with other people, because it's now we're doing it for work.
Yeah, okay, of course. Yeah,
so
I get that.
It's now really nice because obviously I collab with lots of people every month to just have me and him time now, because he doesn't make content with me on my page.
Yeah.
It's just me with other people. So now it's just me. When we have sex, it's emotional, intense sex rather than just work sex.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
What would happen if you wanted to swing and he didn't?
If I wanted to swing and he didn't.
Yeah. Because you said about not asking permission, right?
Yeah. Could I flip that the other way?
Go for it.
If he wanted to swing and I didn't?
You can, but I want you to answer what I asked you first.
Okay.
And then you can answer that.
So what was the flip side there?
So you want to swing.
I want to swing, but he doesn't.
But he doesn't want to. Would you go out and do it without him?
No.
Would you need permission from him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely.
So there are some things you do need permission for.
Yeah.
But this is because it's about a boundary.
Yeah. So.
See what I'm saying?
Again, so when I started to collab, I've got cramp. Oh, sorry. So I didn't start to collab with anyone for my spicy page until April.
Right.
And I got asked by an agency, from America, will you come and shoot with me? And it was a threesome. I asked my husband for permission out of respect.
Sure.
Because I didn't know how he felt about me going off without him, because he's not there. He's not watching. He's not there. It's me going off for the day, working with 2 other people.
Yes.
And then obviously the content's going to come out on the internet. How are you going to feel when you see that? So we had a discussion about it. He didn't really know how he felt about it.
Yes.
But we went ahead with the shoot. And I said to him, if you don't want me to go, I won't. And he was like, no, it'll be okay. It'll be fine. I did the shoot. I come back. We spoke about everything, how I felt, how he felt.
Did you go in detail about how the shoot went?
Yeah. And he met the girl that I made content with, and he watched the video as well.
Okay. And
I had to break it down as how it was done, because as a film, it looks great, but in reality, it's very cut and staged.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, he watched it. We spoke about it, and he was fine. There was no feelings of jealousy or anything. So then he helped me find other agencies to work for.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. That was a big risk.
A big risk.
It was a big risk because
we,
you were like, you didn't know. So you're like, I'm going to go and, because he could have come back and be like, I fucking hated that.
Yeah. Yeah. He could have. And then we would have probably had to have therapy.
Listen, at that, I mean, you know, fair play. I mean, I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't know any guy that would be okay with that.
Yeah.
But obviously they're not in the line of work that you guys are.
No.
So do you know what I mean?
No. And after that, he then set up his own page because he was like, he wanted to get involved with that side of the industry.
He got jealous just for a different reason. He's like, well, I want to make money from this too.
Well, and he did. So I went on holiday to Croatia with my girls.
Okay.
And he had 3 women lined up at his house. I'd left.
Did he ask for your permission?
He
didn't ask for my permission. What motherfucker?
Damn it. I don't think he asked for my permission. I think he just kind of was like...
I guess you'd already done yours at this point.
Yeah, he was like, I've just set up a page for myself. I'm going to get the girls to do casting couches. And I was like, okay, cool. He goes, my first one's when you go to Croatia. I was like, oh, okay. And then he sent me
honey.
Yeah, and then he sent me a selfie with this girl. And him, I'm sitting on the beach and there he is at home on my sofa with another girl. And I'm laughing like, okay. And it is... And I just think, I don't know. There's no feelings of jealousy. I talk to this girl now as well. Like,
can I ask a question? Was there an element of you feeling like you owed him because he had given you the blessing to go do that? So you can't.
Question.
So I'm not saying that you felt bad about it.
No.
But it was almost like I can't feel bad about it because he gave me his blessing, so I kind of owe him one.
I wouldn't say it's about owing, but it was a bit like, okay, you allowed me to go and do that.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
That is hard.
So who am I? Again, who am I to say, no, you can't? Try it. Try it. See how it goes. And if I don't like it, I will say something. Again, the communication.
Yeah. And the reason I used the term owing was because of how you said if a guy provides for you, you feel like you owe him something.
Yeah.
So I felt it's very likely there could have been a parallel there.
No, I think it's more like, well, you let me do it. I need to let you do it.
Yeah.
If I didn't want him to do it, I probably would have said, but I've seen him have sex with lots of women, so it wasn't like it was a first time thing.
Yes.
I haven't watched the videos. I don't want to watch the videos.
Why don't you want to watch the videos?
I think it's different. So I don't mind filming him with another woman.
Yeah.
Because I've done that. But I don't want to watch him if I'm not there. Like,
why?
I just feel like I don't know. I just don't want. I don't want. Why?
Is it because you weren't involved in making it?
Possibly. I've got no need to watch it.
Okay. I get that.
If I'm there filming it, then I don't get any feelings of jealousy or anything like that. I actually enjoy filming it. It's just a film that I need to make.
Yeah.
Getting all the good angles.
Yeah. But I guess for you, it's about work then.
Yeah. So it's a
So it's like you're compartmentalizing.
Yeah.
Because when you're involved, it's like, okay, we're
work.
Professional and this is work.
Yeah.
But if you're watching it, you're like, I'm not watching this for enjoyment.
Yep. And
I'm not jealous. Why am I watching this?
No, exactly. I'll edit his videos, but I'll skim. I don't need to actually watch it.
I feel like you block that emotional side of whatever the emotional response would be to you watching it. When you're in the professional mode involved, you just block that out.
Yeah.
You just put that
at the back. There's no connection. Yeah.
Interesting. So why do you think he wanted to watch it and go through details with yours?
I think I wanted to reassure him.
Yeah.
I think I needed to, because it all looks great on camera, but in reality it was a hard day of work.
Right, yeah.
There was no emotional connection, and I was trying to say that to him. It was work sex, and it was very hard to explain how that felt. And I think him setting up his own page and doing it, he now understands.
How, for those of us who aren't involved, how does that feel? What is the difference between the sex you have with him and the work sex?
So the work sex is very much like it's scripted. So you have a script. The first 5 minutes I'm doing something, the next 5 minutes something else, and you make the right noises, you do the right sounds. There's no emotional connection. It's horrific sex. It's awful.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have fun. I come out with the biggest smile on my face after shooting.
Yes.
But it's horrific. It's horrific.
Is there not any element of you having to be in the mood to make it work?
Nope.
Or is it just like going to the gym, like whether I want to or not, I'm going to go and I can just do it?
It's work. Yeah. I'm acting.
What about physically? Don't you have to be in the mood?
No, that's what lube's for.
Fair enough.
For a guy, maybe. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different for a guy.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Do they have those, what are those girls called? Do they have those girls on sets that are just literally responsible? Fluffers?
Fluffers. Yeah.
Have you had, wow.
Fluffing.
That's so.
It happens.
That is mad. I mean, it makes sense because in between shots and.
Yeah, you get hot and sweaty and
how would you, what is the application process for that job?
That's with the agency.
That's what I want to know. Like, we're looking for a fluffer. Girl comes in just like, well, get on your knees. Show me what you can do.
Yeah, you just keep it hard.
Wow, the guy who recruits for that is a lucky guy.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It is a funny little thing. It is funny.
What's
Fluffing.
Fluffing, it's a thing. What's something else you'd like to ask for the conversation today?
So.
Uh-oh.
Is it monogamy?
Monogamy?
When you have sex with just one person all of your life?
Yeah.
Do men really believe in being monogamous? Or are they just saying that they do just to keep their wives happy or partners happy?
As in, do they say they're monogamous but they're not? And they just say that to keep their wives happy? Or do they just do it to keep the wives happy?
Do they just do it to keep their wives happy? Or partners? Tricky one.
Yeah. There's exceptions to every rule. But short answer is yes. If, to be real, very real here, most guys, if they could, they would have sex with different attractive women and indulge in that.
Yeah.
Not all men all of the time, but most men at least some of the time. So that's not saying he wants to be having sex with different girls all the time, but if he's in a long-term relationship for X amount of years, 20, 30 years or whatever, of course, there are going to be times where he's like, I would just have sex with other women. And it's not because he doesn't love his wife.
No.
It's not because he's not in love with her or whatever, but it is an innate desire in men to seek sexual variety. And being monogamous is often a sacrifice for something. So it could be a sacrifice for the relationship. It could be a sacrifice for a family. It could be a sacrifice for the business, whatever it is, right? A lot of the time it is a sacrifice that men make for something bigger in his eyes. Because, especially nowadays, because most men struggle, right? Most men don't get dates. They're not dating, like a third of men under the age of 30 haven't had sex in the past year. All of this stuff.
Okay. Why?
Why haven't they had sex?
Yeah, why?
Because they don't meet women's standards, it's the truth.
Oh, okay.
Because the standards for women have raised over the past few decades, significantly so. So like, for example, we hear all the time, a list, it must be 6 foot, good looking,
so
good
they've got
body.
a little checklist.
Say again?
They've got a little checklist.
Do your single friends not have a checklist?
Yeah. They're very specific as well.
Exactly. They're very specific. Very specific. And most men don't meet that criteria.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, for example, like, if, let's say a woman says she wants a guy who is good looking and above 6 foot.
Yeah.
Right? Do you know how many men are 6 foot and above?
Not many.
It's about 18% of men, right? It's less than 20% of men. So if you say, I want a guy who's 6 foot and above, purely on that metric,
Yeah.
right? You've eliminated over 80% of men. You don't even know if he's age appropriate. You don't even know if he's straight. You don't know if he's, single. You don't even know what color, creed, race, or whatever it is. You don't know what culture, religion, anything. You haven't applied any of those metrics. That's not even to say whether he's kind, generous, whether he's toxic, manipulative, purely from a height metric, which is a standard that a lot of women have. You've eliminated 80% of men. And then, let's say he's handsome. If we be generous and say that 50% of men are handsome, you've gone from 18% to less than 10% of men, purely on those two metrics. You haven't even applied anything else.
Poor guys.
So most guys don't meet those requirements, right? To be above 6 foot, good looking, good shape, good financial career, all of this stuff, doing well for himself. So most men really struggle. But then what happens is there is a very small percentage of men who get all of the opportunity with women, right? Who are dating and having sex with the majority of women who are out there looking for something. And those men are not going to be monogamous until they settle down, because they don't have to be.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And even with this guy, and this is happening more, like, it's funny because we're actually becoming a more polyamorous society, and we don't
Polyamorous being...
Or polygynous, rather.
Like wanting to have sex with lots of people.
So when I say polygynous, as in people sharing partners. And it's funny because I think, I want to say CBS? I'm getting whoever the study is, I'll find out. But there's a study that showed that 1/3 of men reported being in a relationship and 2/3 of women reported being in a relationship. And there are more women than men in the population. So that means there are multiple women who believe they are in a relationship with the same man.
Oh.
So we're actually becoming a very polygynous society already. So when you're saying about, do men believe in monogamy? If most guys could be in that top percent, most guys would be.
Yeah.
Right? And they would be indulging in all the sexual variety that they want. The time that guy says that he's going to be monogamous to a woman is usually when he's going to be like, okay, this is worth it because I want to start a family with her. And if I'm going to be having kids, taking responsibility, I can't be out here in these streets just hooking up with different girls left, right, and center.
Of course.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But after the kids, he would want to do it. Maybe he would.
Well, yeah, because once the kids are grown up, then you're back to just being you two again, right?
But exactly.
And that's when most people split up.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if people have been together for an extended period of time, they start to open things up. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does make sense.
Anything surprise you?
Has it surprised me? It surprised me about how actually it hasn't surprised me, but you've brought it to light that women do have a checklist and eliminate a lot of men. When there's millions of men, go and play with all these men. Yeah, 100%. Give them a chance.
It's true.
And then not just by their physical, like you said, metrics.
Yeah.
Actually get to know their
It's like, are they kind?
Yeah.
Generous with their time.
Go and have a look at what their qualities are rather than their physical characteristics.
But then I think what happens is, because your friends who are single, how old are they, if you don't mind me asking? In their 30s?
In their 20s.
They're in their 20s?
Yeah,
okay.
Late 20s.
Okay.
Well, actually, one of them's 30. Yeah, late 20s.
Late 20s to 30s?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So what happens is, because women have an abundance of options now, right? Because of social media, dating apps. Like, an attractive girl goes in a dating app, within a day she'll have 100 more so matches, right? There's such an overwhelming level of abundance, which is why they can feel they can be so picky, right? But the mistake that they make is they think that out of those 100 matches, they think every single match is looking at them for a relationship. And they're not.
No.
And in fact, the more desirable a guy is, the less likely he's actually looking for a relationship.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
In that pool.
Yeah.
And so they'll choose guys and things that work out like, he's a fuck boy, he's a narcissist, all of this stuff, right? It's just guys, look, to put it plainly, he was just looking to have some fun a lot of the time, right? He's a narcissist because he doesn't want to commit to you.
Yeah.
Right? Which doesn't make him a narcissist. It just means he doesn't want to give you what you want. He just wants to do what he wants. And we're all human beings. We're self-serving by design.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, he's trash because you found out he slept with someone else, so he's been talking to other women, but, he never said he was exclusive to you. So as a guy, I'm like, what do you expect? Like, if he didn't say he's exclusive, like, he's going to be doing that.
Yeah.
So then they get these really high standards because they're kind of used to dealing with a certain caliber of guy who isn't giving them the level of treatment and investment that they want. But then they start looking for a unicorn, which is a guy who meets all this criteria, but he's only going to commit to you and he's only going to be involved with you. And it's not that you're his wife. It's not that you have kids with him. Like, just because of what you want or, you know, in your head, he's just going to be you. And the truth is, for most, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Now, you can get to that point where he just chooses you. And that's a conversation that you have. But this isn't a romantic film where you just meet a guy and everything just falls into place straight away like that.
No.
You just get the top guy and suddenly he's like, you're the one I've been looking for forever. It's not real life.
It doesn't work like that. I actually spoke to my husband about dating. Like, it's a horrible subject, but I went to a funeral not long ago and one of the girl died and left her husband behind. And he's like similar age to me. And it really hit home because I was a bit like, if anything happened to my husband, how would I deal with going back into the dating world? Like, and we've had the conversation together. Like, I would want him to be happy. He would want me to be happy.
Yes.
After a period of time, grieve or do whatever you need to do. But I would want him to find somebody else and get back onto the whole dating thing.
Yes.
And talking about dating and putting yourself on social media scares the hell out of me. Like,
yeah.
Like,
it's a crazy world, boy.
It's
crazy landscape right now.
You put your picture on and you get all these men flocking you.
Yeah.
Left, right. And you don't know who you're meeting up with. It's completely changed to when I was dating 15 odd years ago.
Yeah.
Where I would go out and talk to people in wherever I was, at a club, bar, gym.
Yes.
Now, people don't tend to do that.
Everyone's on this.
Everyone's on their phone. And you think about, there's a lot of catfishes.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I don't know how people do it. Like, you know, when you go on a dating app, that picture you're looking at, that's giving you that first impression, that's been filtered to hell.
Edited, everything.
That's their best picture that they've ever got. So if that picture
from
is
5 years ago.
if that picture is no good, then the rest of them are not going to be good, and she's going to be, or she's not going to be what you want. Want to look at.
It's so true.
I don't know how I would deal with it.
I guess gratitude is the attitude for happiness, and I guess it just, you know, and I'm sorry to hear about that with your friend who passed. But I guess it makes you go, wow, what I've got is amazing and I'm going to appreciate every day. That's
why when my husband gets up at 4 a.m, I'm like, you go do your
thing. You go do your thing, babe.
Yeah.
I'll be here when you get back.
And that's it.
I love that.
Because you don't know how long you're going to be here for. So 100%. Every day it's okay.
Yeah, I get that.
Because them days when he's not there, when I wake up, I'm gonna be sad.
Yeah, of course. Is there anything else you'd like to ask or bring to the topic of conversation today?
Yes. No. Sex before bed.
Ooh, sex before bed.
So, you know, when you've had a full day at work and you're tired, you get in your bed and you want a little cuddle. And then something's prodding in your back, and you're like, please, no, not now.
Babe, why is the remote in your pocket? It's not the remote.
Why is it that men love to have sex just before you're just about to go, like, just before bed? Why? I can tell you why.
I think I know why. Okay, I'll give you my reason, and you tell me yours.
Okay.
Because the second men finish, they pass out. And when the sleep a man has after sex is bliss.
Yep. That's
it.
And do you know what it is for women?
That's it. Go on.
It's the opposite. So you men fall asleep after doing your deed, and us women stare at the ceiling, pissed off.
Why are you pissed off?
Because
Did you not have fun?
Yeah, we had fun, but we're so stimulated.
Yeah,
and
you're
this
so
is
energized.
this is the problem. It stimulates us, and our brains start going. And I stare at the ceiling for a good hour and a half, and I get annoyed listening to him snoring. So it is now an unwritten rule in our house.
That what? You don't have sex before bed?
Yeah. And again,
What?
but we have sex any time of the day. I don't mind if it's 4 a.m. Like, you can be 4 a.m. when he gets up to read. I don't care about that. That's fine. Any time of the day, just not before bed, because I cannot deal with it. And I've spoken to him about it, and he's really cool with it. Like, he's respecting my needs.
Okay.
Because I need to go to sleep.
Right.
But,
that's hilarious.
So we always make sure daytime sex is the one. Doesn't matter where we are, what time of day it is. Just not.
I mean, that's kind of fun. That's a good way to spice up a relationship. I mean, you're doing it for a different reason.
Oh yeah,
that's a really good way to spice up a relationship. We can't have sex before bed. Wow, that is actually mad. So what about in the morning then? Morning must be great for you.
Mornings, I love mornings. Like I am generally a morning person, as much as I do hate the light going on. But within 10 minutes, I'm awake. So having sex in the morning will get me going.
Okay, that's hilarious. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But what if you had a really intense session? Like you were going for, I don't know, just like a good 40 minutes to an hour, right? He's finished, he's like knackered, you're knackered. Would you not just want to pass out too?
No, I've tried this. I've tried it. It's only a recent thing where I've said it's becoming a problem because it's interfering with my sleep. I want to get up early.
Interesting.
So yeah, like I said,
yeah, as a guy, I guess
we don't
think about that.
In the middle of the day, we will have sex happily. I love it.
Yeah.
And then I'll go and get up and do all the chores I need to do, and he's asleep.
He's passed out.
He's happy.
Wow, yeah, that's so true. Interesting. So what is the best time of day for you to have sex? Is it just during the day? Is it in the morning? Like, what's the best time?
After my gym session.
After the
pumped,
gym.
And I'm like,
okay. It's like a cool down.
Yeah. So I don't know, again, because maybe all the feel good hormones are rushing around me from like the gym.
Course.
So I'm like hyped. So it's usually about 11 o'clock. Like,
that's brilliant. I love that. I might have to clip that. That's great. I love that. I realized you didn't answer one other question, which we said we'd come back to.
Oh, okay.
Which was the swinging thing.
Oh, yes.
So what if he wanted to swing, but you didn't want to swing?
So when it was the other way round, what did I say? I said, I can't remember what I said. If he wants to swing and I don't want to swing, is that the question? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would let him.
Yep.
I would let him go off and do his
Even
thing.
if you didn't want him to?
Oh, even if I didn't want to swing?
No, as in like, so you don't want to swing, but he wants to swing. So if he's going to do it, he's going to go do it without you.
Yeah. I would be happy with that.
Give your blessing.
Yep, I'd give my blessing for that.
Even if you didn't want him to do it?
Oh, if I didn't want him to do it, I would say, please don't do it. I would tell him that. I wouldn't pretend. But if I don't want to swing and he does, then
you'd be like, yeah,
go
do your thing.
Go have a good time.
Yeah.
Tell me all about it.
Fair. Have sex with them before bed. Just not me.
Yeah. That's it.
I love that.
Because I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it. 8 p.m. These doors are closed.
Yep, that's it. I've chilled out. I'm on the sofa. Like, no.
I love that. That's awesome. Listen, Kirsty, you've been such an awesome guest. Thank you for sharing your energy with us today.
Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. Where can people find you if they want to find you online?
On Instagram.
Yep.
Kirsty_Stroud31.
Perfect.
Twitter. Kirsty Stroud again. Just type my name in Google.
Kirsty Stroud, and she will come up.
Yeah,
she will come up. Listen, well, thank you for coming on. We appreciate you. Guys, go show Kirsty some love. Give her some follows. Give her a likes. And if you want to check out her spicy content, check it out. Do your thing. What we've learned today, though, no sex before bed.